A lot of folks have been asking me why Robinhood stock just crashed 3% after being up as much as 8% after their earnings. That means the stock fell a delta of 11%. That's insane. Why would it move 11% to the negative after what were actually really good earnings? After all, the company is becoming profitable, it has record deposits moving in and record revenues, with operating expenses that have been slashed. Imagine this. Imagine taking a Javier Milei style chainsaw and going in there and slicing up 82% of your spending at Robinhood. That is, general and administrative expenses down 82% from over $500 million, $647 million, all the way down to $118 million. How is all of a sudden saving basically $500 million in expenses with a chainsaw at the same time as revenues are up 40%? In other words, you cut spending 82%, revenues up 40%. Oh my gosh, what is happening? How could the stock fall 11%? Well, I as well am surprised. I was playing some trades on Robinhood today, and we were doing our live trading like we usually do in our course member live stream. I exited the trade profitably, and there were a lot of opportunities to exit the trade even more profitably. But there was a bad omen. There was a bad omen. There was a 1794 line, and as soon as we got, I'll show you the point right here. As soon as we got that failed breakout, can't even really call it a breakout, it's more of a rejection. As soon as we got that failure there, game over. And sure enough, the stock melted away. So why though? What could possibly be going on? Well, I think I figured it out. Now, keep in mind, if you want to join the trade alerts, coupon expires next Wednesday. We're slowly inching the prices up. The demand for this has been insane, which has sort of been a leading indicator for the fact that Robinhood would probably beat. The number of folks trading these days is way up, which is great. It means we're finally getting back to a more normalized market as opposed to that 2020 disgusting market where everything was just burning up in flames. So let's hop in over here. What do we have? And I'm going to show you the problem. At least this is my opinion of the problem. Could be something else, okay? Transaction-based revenue. So in other words, where is Robinhood making their dollar dollars from? That is a big deal. Why is it a big deal? Because watch this, okay? We're going to do something here. You could see the following. See the options revenue that they've earned? Their options revenue is up by about 15.7%, which is pretty good because we know they make a lot of money on their options trading. But look at crypto. Crypto, folks. Crypto is up over 3x. My HDMI is too loose for this, apparently. There we go. Let's slide that in. Kind of Stormy Daniels that in. Okay, too soon. So cryptocurrencies, we're at 3.3x as instead of a percentage. And then stock trading, folks, nominal stock trading only went up by about 44%, which, yeah, that's higher than options, but it's still a fraction of the money they make from options. In fact, you're only making about 25% of your, you're only making about 25% as much money on trading actual stocks as you are options. So they're really incentivized to get you to trade crypto and options. So you'll see this here on Axios. Robinhood also posted record net deposits of $11.2 billion, and Robinhood sees record revenue boosted by crypto business. That seems great, right? But again, head on over here to the cash flow statement, and you'll notice in 2023, the business was creating cash flow, $828 million of cash flow. Why are we negative $623 billion here? Well, because once you adjust for the fact that you've got to offset the cash that you're receiving, as usually cash you have to segregate. The $692 million number here basically means you've got cash deposited here, and you have to put that aside. You can't actually use that in your business. That cash has to be separated and be safe so it's redeemable and you don't end up with an FTX. So you're not actually getting that cash flow like a bank would. SoFi does because they're a bank. They can do basically fractional money printing, if you will. Banks don't print money, but I'm oversimplifying. Point is, broker-dealers don't get that benefit. So deposits, great, but you're not necessarily able to use those. Now, why does that matter? Well, if we jump on over here to revenues, I want you to pay specific attention to this. $618 million of revenues, $460 million in expenses, net 157. Okay, so we went from a big ol' loss to a big ol' profit, 157 mil. But remember that crypto number I reminded you to keep in your mind? Don't worry, I already forgot it as well. So their net was, 157, and their crypto revenues were 126. Now let's assume for a moment the SEC comes in and says, stop doing crypto. Well, now all of a sudden, you have a total of 80% of your profit, poof, going up in smoke. And you're using cash in operations. Now, some of that, again, has to do with deposits and how things are aligned. But what I think is the market is trading on the risk of the potential that Robinhood could maybe end up losing their ability to actually trade crypto. Now, the good news, the bullish news that Robinhood has is that Robinhood is probably going to be more like a Coinbase than, well, let's just say a company that ends up getting cut from being able to use or conduct crypto transactions. You can see here, Vlad talks about the disappointing development about that SEC Wells notice they received about the crypto business. They believe that U.S. consumers should have access to the asset class. And remember that trading in crypto itself is much more profitable for Robinhood than people buying the ETFs. See, people buying the ETFs would actually be under this bucket, I believe at least, right here, where you've got $39 million of revenue. That's a drop in the bucket compared to 126 mil coming from crypto. And it's worth noting, this right here is a set of transaction-based revenue. Now, what's remarkable about that is if you go over to the earnings call, you'll actually see something very interesting. Look at this right here. Volumes. Crypto volumes were 10 billion. Okay, that's really interesting because if crypto volumes were 10 bill and they made 126, we can calculate the approximate fee Robinhood is making off of every dollar of a trade. So they say they made 126 million bucks off of crypto, and that's gonna be in Q1. Now they're not gonna give us the trade volumes for Q1, at least not readily available. So we're gonna have to assume that the trading volumes for Q1 are similar to what we're seeing in April. I don't love doing those sort of assumptions, but it's gonna give us an idea. And then we got 39 million in revenues over here from equities. And options, this will be a lot harder to figure out as well, but we'll write it down just for comparison. You can see options in crypto, obviously where they're going to make a bulk of their money. Now, if I go to Q2, in the earnings call, we get a little sneak peek of Q2. So notional volumes were $70 billion for equities. That's actually just in April. So notice that that's just April volumes, $70 billion. Option contracts were a monthly record of $125 million. So 125 million, a monthly record. We're gonna write that down, that's pretty neat. And we're gonna call that the volume. So since obviously we're talking about trading volumes here, and crypto notional volumes were around $10 billion. Okay, this is really useful because now we can jump in over here and take a peek at what we can do. We can assume, which I realize this is just April, so it's not perfect, but let's turn April into a quarter. And so all we're gonna do is multiply it by 3, just to see how much money Robinhood is potentially making on all of these various different items here. Now, they did say this was a monthly record, so I'm gonna go ahead and wear this down by, I don't know, 15%. So I'll take 15% off of each of these because let's just say that this month was, April was particularly hot. Great, so we took 15% off of the money that they made in the quarter, and we tried to turn this into a quarter. So now we have volume. We're gonna take the volume and we're gonna divide it by the money they make, or rather vice versa. Money they make divided by the volume. And so what you get here is basically how much of a commission Robinhood makes off of each one of these types of trades. So we can go ahead and turn this into a percentage. I want you to see something very interesting. Watch this. So this blows my mind. I can't imagine that this is true, but this somewhat implies that Robinhood is picking up a spread of 48% on your option trades. I cannot believe that. I don't think that's true. I think something is broken here. It doesn't seem right. But again, they did say right here that options contracts were a record of 125 million and crypto notional volumes were around $10 billion. That seems something funny's going on over here with options. But let's just ignore options for a moment. Look at the money they make off of stock trading. So I'm going to guess that something over here is maybe off by the value of a contract. So let's just divide this by 100 and it would show you that options are roughly as profitable as crypto. I think that's much more accurate of an analysis. So I'm going to assume this because I don't think anybody can get away with charging that high of a commission, but it's obvious there's a lot more money made in crypto and options. And so that's the point of this video. If they lose crypto, they lose 80% of their net income, and that might be the risk factor here. Now, again, I don't think they will because the SEC has had a really hard time fighting Coinbase, and I actually believe that Coinbase is going to beat the SEC in court. I broke all of that down over on ehack.com. When the actual court case was being heard or the initial hearings were being heard on SEC versus Coinbase on being a securities broker, which is roughly similar to what we're seeing the SEC complain about now with Robinhood, broker-dealer violations and transfer agent violations, which is just a fancy way of saying you're probably trading unregistered securities in the eyes of the SEC. Similar complaint against Coin as against Robinhood. Otherwise, I have to say, kind of neat that Robinhood's currently getting almost $100 million in annual recurring revenue just from people upgrading to Robinhood Gold. The thing to know about Robinhood Gold is they're making it pretty easy to get your 5% APY, and it looks like soon they're going to be offering, well, their credit card, which you can pre-sign up for, but it's not out yet. And then eventually, which also isn't out at the moment, they'll do some form of deposit boost. Well, they'll give you some extra money if you deposit or transfer new money over to Robinhood. We're not actually seeing that available at the moment, though they do have the 3% IRA matching, so you're seeing some people move those over. They did mention in the earnings call that some of the cohort that is coming to Robinhood is a wealthier cohort than they're used to or than usual. In fact, when they're asked, hey, are these people who actually go trading or what are they like? They say, well, they're mostly similar. The only thing is they're coming in with higher balances than our historical customers. So they're loving the quality of money that's coming into Robinhood. My guess is a lot of folks looking for easy retirement account or deposit account transfers are taking advantage of that. Anyway, I'll go ahead and put my Robinhood referral link in the description down below if you want to sign up. This is not like a paid promotion from Robinhood. Obviously, everybody has an affiliate link. I'm just going to throw it down there just in case you want as a thank you to sign up, but it's not a big deal. I think the bigger thing would be, hey, if you want to join me in the Stocks and Psych group or any of the other amazing courses on building your wealth, link down below. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Why not advertise these things that you told us here? I feel like nobody else knows about this.
We'll try a little advertising and see how it goes.
Congratulations, man. You have done so much. People love you. People look up to you.
Kevin Paffrath there, financial analyst and YouTuber. Meet Kevin. Always great to get your take.
Even though I'm a licensed financial advisor, licensed real estate broker, and becoming a stockbroker, this video is not personalized advice for you. It is not tax, legal, or otherwise personalized advice tailored to you. This video provides generalized perspective, information, and commentary. Any third-party content I show shall not be deemed endorsed by me. This video is not and shall never be deemed reasonably sufficient information for the purposes of evaluating a security or investment decision. Any links or promoted products are either paid affiliations or products or services we may benefit from. I also personally operate an actively managed ETF. I may personally hold or otherwise hold long or short positions in various securities, potentially including those mentioned in this video. However, I have no relationship to any issuer other than HouseHack, nor am I presently acting as a market maker. Make sure if you're considering investing in HouseHack to always read the PPM at househack.com.